today's class, you're going to want to have a yoga block or two if you have to. One will work just fine. We are going to be doing a lot of hip openers and we're going to begin standing. So go ahead and come to a standing position in the center of your mat and spread your feet hip width apart. Close the eyes, relax your hands at your sides, and take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, release the air from the nose. Inhale, nose. Exhale, nose. One more deep inhale. And exhale. Go ahead and take your hands to your hips. And let's relax our upper body forward into a bent over position with the upper body parallel to the floor. Deep stretch in the back of those legs. Come with the upper body parallel to the floor and then inhale, stand the body back up. Take your time. I'll show you what this looks like from the side. Exhale, back to a nice right angle at the hips. Back of the head and extension of the spine. Inhale it back up. Exhale back down. Inhale back up. Exhale down. If you do need to bend the knees to help facilitate the movement, you can do that. If you're able to keep those legs straight to warm up the back of the legs, do so. Up and exhale. The next time you come forward, I'd like you to just fold forward. Let the arms hang like a rag doll. Head and neck hang heavy. Let everything go. Let that heavy head rest on the spine. Opening up the back, relieving pressure in the vertebrae. Nice deep breathing as you release a little more weight of the body into the toes. Take your hands back to your hips and let's slowly come back to that right angle at the hips. And inhale, bring yourself back to an upright standing position. Exhale, relax those arms and let's go ahead and twist side to side, allowing those arms to flop alongside the abdomen. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Close the eyes and let this awaken the spine, the internal organs, the lungs, the abdomen, the chest. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Keep it going. If it's too intense, of course, don't swing quite so vigorously side to side. bring that to stillness. And let's work on a couple of balancing positions. So why don't we begin with our tree pose? I'm outside, maybe you're outside. And for tree pose, we're going to bring the weight of the body into one leg before we even think of lifting that one other leg up. And we're gonna focus when we do lift that other leg up on opening that hip. So if you choose the ankle, I want you to dig those toes down into the floor for a nice stretch in the foot and the arch of the foot and the toe joints, and really turn that knee out to the right. If you bring the foot above or below the knee, the heel above or below the knee, turn that knee out to the right. And then if you bring that heel to the inner thigh, same concept, knee presses straight out to the right. And if you'd like to try half lotus, which is a wonderful hip opener as well, then again, press that hip out to the right. All right, the whole time we're trying to engage, pressing that foot into the leg and this leg into the foot. All right, that's how you're going to find your balance. The other thing you're going to do is focus on a point directly across from you at eye level that's unmoving. So find that point across from you that you're going to focus on, and let's come into mountain pose while we stare gently at that place. Feet come together, lift the toes up, spread them down, gripping your mat with your feet. Tighten through the calves and thighs, tuck the tailbone, engage your abs. Inhale, roll the shoulders up. Exhale, relax them back and down. Hands come into prayer position. Press the back of those thumbs toward the chest. Good. Now shift the weight of the body into your left leg as you focus on that point across from you still. And then bring your right foot to your left ankle, above or below the knee or the inner thigh, or go for half lotus, whatever works for you. Open that knee out to the right, and then inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale, the arms open, keeping the shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Hold it and breathe. Beautiful. Now, if you've come out of it, just come back in, but try to go through all those steps, because it really is important that you start from a strong foundation. Deep breathing here. Remember to push the foot into the leg and the leg into the foot for that solid base. Soft gaze across the way, like a tree in the breeze, leaves maybe blowing to and fro, but a solid base, a rooted trunk. Good. Turn your palms down toward the floor and slowly, gently lower the arms. Relax that leg and shake your legs out, especially that standing left leg, right? All right, let's do the other side. Come into your mountain pose. Find that point across from you as you get set in mountain pose. Lift the toes up off of the floor, spread them down. Grip your mat like you have suction cups for feet. Tighten through the calves and thighs, tuck the tailbone, engage your abs. Inhale, roll the shoulders up. Exhale, relax them back and down. Hands come together in prayer position. Press those thumbs toward the chest. Soften the shoulders as you inhale. Oh, sorry, come back. Shift the weight of the body into your right leg. Then bring your left foot to your right ankle, above or below the knee, or come into half lotus. Now we're going to inhale the arms up. Exhale them open, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Remember to press the foot into the leg and the leg into the foot. Try to balance equally in all four corners of that right standing foot. Breathe. Beautiful, everyone. Just have some grace with yourself. These take a lot of calf strength ankle strength, a lot of patience with yourself, a lot of small muscle groups supporting the larger muscle groups. Inhale, exhale, relax that leg and arms down, shake those legs out. Very nice work. Very nice. All right, let's move into a little bit of work with our blocks, still standing. So let's have a block up at the right side of your mat. Someone asked me the other day, what's the white dog's name? This is Brittany, and she is a 2-year-old, maybe 3 now. She is a poodle, obviously, and she was rescued off the streets of LA. She had been hit by a car and was just laying in the street, and she came to me as a foster with a broken hip that had just been repaired, and she was a mess. She just had a dangly leg and was on all kinds of medicines, sedate her, and she had to have crate rest, and we got her in good shape, and my husband fell in love with her, and so she became what they call a foster failure, and now she's a forever fixture in the home. And she went from being a nippy biter dog to now being really great with the kids, and she's clearly a fan of mine as well. So anyway, that's the story of Brittany. All right, right foot is going to be stretched out. You're going to turn your right toes to the short edge of your mat, and you're going to turn your left heel to the back left corner of your mat and pigeon toe your left toes toward this right foot. Now draw a line, a straight line from your right heel to the inside of your left foot, and you want that line to be straight. So if I took a ruler from here to here, I'd want a straight line. Okay, that'll help you have nice balance as you come down into this. Okay, so that block is going to be there for your support. So I've been doing triangles for years and years and years, and I still use a block. I really like the block. I feel like it really supports me and helps me get the best stretch possible. So I like to have it at this nice high setting. If you want, you can even do a double block stack. You can stack it on this side, you can stack it low, or you can use no block at all. Whatever suits your fancy. All right, so we got to get our hips forward, and then we got to make sure that that right hip comes back as high as the left hip. Obviously it wants to drop down because we've stretched this right leg forward. Make sure it's just as high. Fingertips are going to come right in front of the breastbone. Inhale, the arms open. Good, and then I just want you to tilt your right shoulder. Notice I'm not reaching. I'm tilting my right shoulder down to my right hip. All those crunches we've done on this right side and the fanning we've done on the left side, this is when it comes into play. Drop your right hand wherever you want to put it on your block. Okay, may need to adjust it. I'm going to get a little more height. And press that right hand down into the block so that you're pushing your chest very, very majestically out of that block. So the chest is open across here, this shoulder pressing down into that hip. Left fingertips reach up for the ceiling, and then you look up toward the sky. If it's okay with your head and neck. If not, just look neutrally forward. Right? And then as you kind of go, okay, I feel good about this, you might go, all right, I'm going to drop down a little deeper. As long as it keeps you between what I call the two invisible panes of glass. So if when you come down deeper, that makes your bottom push back and your head push forward, and you hit those two panes of glass in front of and behind you, then you want to come back up. Because we're going for staying really nice and lean here in between those two panes of glass. Getting the elongation, the lines of energy, the chest opening, the right inner thigh opening, the hips opening, this hip opening, this hip opening. Hopefully you're feeling that. And don't let your shoulders sink down here. Press into that right hand as though you could just spring up at any moment. You want to feel as though you could spring out of that block at any moment. And then imagining someone is holding your left wrist and you're just going to come up and relax the arms down. Good. Very nice. All right, let's do the other side. So if you have any questions on this, of course, ask me in the comments when I'm doing your video submission checks. They can be tricky, but hopefully I'm giving you enough tips and tricks to help you. All right, let's try the other side. You're going to pigeon toe your right foot. You're going to turn those left toes to the short edge of your left side of the mat. You're going to bring your left hip up, and you're going to draw that line from your right heel to the left arch. So I just realized my line went right to my right heel, so I'm adjusting. Those 2 or 3 inches make a huge difference when you come down, okay? So when you pigeon toe, you feel like you're a lot more in control as you come down. Now when you came down before too, if you felt like you really had to reach to get down lower, you might want to try spreading your feet farther apart. Even though you think, oh, I don't have quite the flexibility to spread the legs so far apart, you might surprise yourself. It doesn't take too much flexibility if you elevate your blocks once you start to come down. So you could give that a shot. All right, left hip comes up higher, fingertips come right in front of the breastbone, chest is lifted, shoulders are down. Inhale, the arms open. Exhale, remember, shoulder comes down on the left side to the left hip, and fan the right ribs. Find your block. Try not to scoot that booty back. Keep it in line with your legs, your feet, your shoulders. Good. Fingertips reach for the sky. Left shoulder. Nice and active. Just hovering above that left hand. The sky above me can't decide if it's sunny or not, so that's why I'm squinting and then blinking. It's a weird sky up there. Keep pressing your feet in opposite directions like you're trying to split your mat in two. That'll also help you feel like you have power and control in this standing stretch. All right, to come out of this, I want you to bend your left elbow a bit and then spring up with an inhale. Exhale, relax the arms down. Very nice, everyone. Okay, you can bend up your right leg and hop your feet together. Go ahead and shake those legs out. Really nice work, everyone. Okay, come down to all fours, and I'd like you to take your blocks. Again, if you don't have 2 of them, that's fine. You can do this without 2 blocks. In fact, you don't have to do this with 2 blocks. You can do this perfectly well with no blocks. I just wanted folks who might have limited flexibility to see it with 2 blocks. So we would start in an all fours position. Okay, knees are under hips, and we're going to bring that right foot forward and slide the left knee back. We've done this before in different variations, but again, we're working on opening our hips, and so this helps to stack those arms up and not make this quite so deep of a stretch if you need to do that. If you don't need the blocks, then just move them out of the way and go ahead and rest down into those hands. You can also come onto yoga fingertips, or you could place rolled up blankets underneath you. Oh, got a stick on you. Yes, you do. Oh, I know, I'm busy. So look down at the mat, just right inside your right foot. Let your left hip melt down to the ground. That's the idea here. Keep your right knee over your right heel as well. Try to keep your neck long, in fact, your whole spine long. So that tailbone lengthening out, down toward your back left toe. Crown of the head reaching up, across from your left big toe on the diagonal. And just kind of hang out here. Let gravity do the work. If your wrists are giving you trouble and you have more flexibility, you can drop down onto the forearms at this point. If you're like, oh no, that's not happening, and you need to back out a bit or back up a bit, maybe you need to come into the blocks now to slowly back yourself out of it. Because your hips are like, okay, this is enough. We've been here too long. Everybody's different. I really need these hip stretches. At the time of making this video right now, we're under quarantine and I have no ability to go to the gym. So I have been doing cardio by bike riding. And my children want to bike ride with me. So I bought a bike trailer to carry the 4-year-old on my bike, and riding with an additional, I don't know, 70 pounds between the trailer and her wanting to go up hills because she likes to go down hills and go faster mama, faster mama. It is really intense. It's been intense on my hip flexors to have that additional weight, and so I need this super deep stretch, so you're getting the benefit of that right now. And now that's enough. Okay, so let's roll back into the back of the leg stretch here, which is a lovely counter position that we can just kind of roll into here, right from that one that we just did. The key here though is to make sure that you're staying balanced between the right heel and the left knee. You could easily just kind of cheat this one and put all your weight in your left knee. Again, use your blocks if you need them. Some people really have trouble with this one. They cannot flex their foot. They in fact need to bend their knee, and that's perfectly fine. If this is enough of a stretch for you, stay here. Use those blocks here. All right, if you're able to do this without the blocks or somewhere in the middle, flex that right foot, relax the head and neck down. Do try to find the balance between the right heel and the left knee, and keep your legs in line with your hips, meaning don't lean everything into that left side. Don't lean way over here like you're gonna fall over to the right. Nice deep breathing as you stretch deep in the back of the right leg. And it's not really a counter pose. I shouldn't say that. A counter pose is when you stretch one muscle in one direction or one joint in one direction, and then you stretch it in the opposite direction. So we were really stretching one set of joints and muscles, and now we're in a whole different set. So just to be clear on what we're doing, we were stretching left hip, and now we're stretching the back of the right leg. All right, lean forward and slide the right leg back. And come into your all fours position. Let's inhale, droopy cow belly. Hopefully this feels really good to you. Exhale, round into cat back. Inhale, droopy cow belly. Exhale, cat back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Wonderful. Let's come to the other side now. And again, if you need your blocks, use them. We're going to bring our left leg forward and slide the right leg back. Okay? Left heel is going to be directly under that left knee. If you're able to, slide that right leg far back and drop your hips down. Remove blocks. If you need to bring your left hand inside the foot, go for it. The main thing is to feel the stretch right in here, front of the right hip. Feel your body is supported. Keep your left knee in close to the left shoulder. Hi. You can come up on those left yoga fingertips if needed. If that fatigues your fingertips too much, use the blocks, use some blankets, whatever works for you. See if you can let go of something that's tense or tight in your hips. Now would be a good time if you need to make any adjustments, if you're having any wrist pain, any neck pain, any pain anywhere, make adjustments. Remember, we want long, lean spine, so reaching the crown of the head on a diagonal away from your tailbone. If you came down to the forearms on the other side, you might want to do that on this side. Keep hugging your left shoulder with your left knee. Let's back out of that slowly. Coming into the left, back of the left leg stretch. Use your blocks as needed. Flex the foot if you're able. Balance the weight between your left knee and left heel. Do try to keep your right hip over that right knee. Relax the head and neck down, bend the knee if you need to, use yoga fingertips. At this point in the semester, you have so many tools, tricks, modifications at your disposal. Hopefully you feel confident using them. Nice deep breathing, everyone. All right, bend back into that left knee, slide the leg back. Hands are going to be under shoulders, knees under hips. And anytime we do all fours, you can always use your blocks. Anytime if you need that support and it helps you in any way. Inhale, droopy cow belly. Look up, open the throat, tilt the hips back. Exhale, round into cat back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. More. Inhale and exhale. Back to a flat back. Really nice work, everyone. Okay, our next pose, if they'll let me do it, is a really nice hip opener, and it does have some modifications. We're going to stack our legs. Left leg is going to be on the bottom. Right leg is going to be on the top. And ideally, you want to have the knees right on top of one another. Now, if you're not able to do that, that's perfectly fine. What you'll do is start with the left leg straight and do your best to get that right knee on top of the left knee, like so. Again, if that's not happening, you would back it up to here, where you'd have that right ankle on top of the left leg. And if that doesn't work for you, just go to the right foot on the inside of the left thigh. Okay? So, starting here, left leg straight out in front of you, right foot inside of left thigh. Next would be try right ankle on top of left thigh. Next is right knee on top of left knee. Next, moving right heel, left heel underneath right butt cheek, and stacking your knees right on top of one another. This is called cow face, and sitting up nice and tall. Already, just sitting here in whatever variation of this pose that you've selected, you can feel the stretch in your hips. So what I'd like you to do is just sit up really nice and tall here with the chest lifted and the shoulders back and down, and place your hands in front of your right knee, wherever that should be, or in front of that right leg, wherever it is. And then let's try to fold forward to a comfortable place. Just gently fold forward. It might not be much for you, maybe just a couple of inches of movement forward, or you may be able to fold completely forward. Whatever works for you, just go there and release the body forward. This will obviously deepen in the stretch for you. I'm feeling it pretty deep in my right side, kind of rounding into that right glute, hip flexor. You may be feeling it somewhere a little different. Remember, we don't want sharp pain. A gentle stretch, gentle pulling sensation, getting outside your comfort zone is one thing, and that's okay. But pull back from any sharp pain, back up from the steps that we got into it until you find a comfortable place to be outside your comfort zone, but not in sharp pain. Slowly come on up from that, sitting up tall, and let's switch our legs. So we'll stretch out both legs to begin. Let's just point and flex the feet. All right, so we're gonna start with that left leg. No, we're gonna start with the right leg down. And remember, right leg is gonna be the bottom. Left foot can come to the inside of the right thigh, or we can bring our left ankle to the top of the right thigh. You can bring your left knee on top of that right knee. Or if you're able to, bring your right heel underneath your left butt cheek, stack your knees, sit up tall. So let's just interlace our fingers in front of that knee, sitting up tall, chest lifted, shoulders back and down, and breathe deeply. See where you're feeling the stretch. And when you're ready, go ahead and come forward. Maybe you like it and you have enough stretch just from sitting there tall, so just stay there if that's the best for you. If you can come forward, go for it. And rest wherever it's best for you. Slowly press yourself back up. Sit up tall. Good. And unfurl those legs. Stretch them out. And point and flex your feet. Excellent. All right, let's come down to our backs. Have your block within arm's reach of you as you come down on the floor. And we're going to do a figure 4 stretch, which I think many people are familiar with, even just from athletics in school. So for the figure 4 stretch, we're going to cross our right ankle just above the left knee. So you start with your heels up near your bottom, cross that right ankle, lift your left foot off of the floor, interlace your hands behind the left thigh or in front of your left shin. If you need a strap to place behind that leg or in front of the leg, do that. And then we want to press that right thigh toward the sky with your right elbow. So really dig in there to press that leg up to deepen into the stretch. And at the same time, you're going to pull the top of the left thigh into the chest. And where you're going to feel this is deep in this right glute area. Really wonderful for releasing tension in that area that pulls on your lower back. So a lot of people say, oh, I have so much lower back pain. I don't know what to do. I don't know why it's hurting. A lot of times it's from tight legs, tight hamstrings, tight glutes, and the best, even tight calves. Sometimes our worst lower back pain is from tight calves. And if you can imagine the body and the back, if you think about your back and a bunch of rubber bands, if your back was a bar, a horizontal bar, and you had rubber bands attached to it, one was a short rubber band and that was your glutes, one was a longer rubber band and that's your hamstrings, and one's a longer rubber band and that's your calves, and you go out and do some kind of new thing, a new exercise or whatever, and basically you use muscles you haven't used before, you will be working those muscles, you'll be tightening those muscles, they'll be trying to get stronger to improve for the next time you do that, but they get tight, and so that rubber band tightens, and what does it do? It pulls on that bar that it's attached to up at the top, and that bar starts to feel weight, and then you don't stretch it, so you go out and do something else, and it's all connected. So the more you don't stretch, the more maybe those muscles get twisted around one another, the rubber bands twist around one another, and we're just really simple but also super complex creatures. But that's really how our lower back gets into these situations where we feel really painful. So you have to keep those rubber bands nice and loose and stretched out. That's as simple as I can put it. I hope that visual helps you. So let's drop that one down. Relax that right foot down. Good, and cross your left ankle just above your right knee. Lift that right foot off the floor. Interlace your fingers behind the right thigh or in front of the right shin. Left elbow presses the left thigh, inside of that left thigh up toward the sky. Pull the top of your right thigh into the right side of the chest. Keep your lower back glued to the floor. That's the key. If you lift the lower back up off the floor, it's not going to be as intense of a stretch. So keep it glued down as you stretch deep in your left glute and hamstring. Stretching out that rubber band. Opening it up, keeping it loose. you hear that creaking noise, I've got 100-year-old bamboo right above my head, and in the wind it creaks back and forth and sways back and forth. And it's really beautiful to have overhead, but you can't help but feel like, is it gonna fall? Is it gonna fall one of these days? But it never does. 100 years, it's gonna stick there. It's gonna stay. It's gonna stick around. All right, relax that down. Now, my favorite and many of your favorite final stretch is a block assisted hip bridge. And it is just a beautiful way to melt your back over this block. And you can pick your setting. I like to think of it as setting 1, setting 2, or setting 3. And notice the placement of the block. Okay, we're gonna come up with our hips. You can place it here, place it here. See how low I have it? Or place it up here. And if the block feels too hard, I happen to have old-fashioned wood blocks. They're pretty firm. You can always place a blanket over top of them. Don't come in quite as fast as I just did to show you how to do it. Let's come in more thoughtfully. We're gonna rest our arms up overhead and bring the heels in very close to the bottom, as close as you're able to. This is our last movement or stretch of the day, if you will. And have your right hand, or if you're left-handed, left hand on the block. And let's slowly peel the spine away from the floor. So tilt the tailbone up, press into your heels, and then lift the heels up as you blow up an imaginary balloon underneath your spine. And then place your block where you like it best and where you're able to fully relax. Maybe you're not having a high block day today. And then place your heels back down on the ground, and then maybe bring your feet a little farther apart so that you can relax your knees. You want to be able to relax your legs as much as possible so that they don't fall apart or fall in. And you want to just let everything melt here. No sharp pain. If you're feeling sharp pain, go down a setting. If you would like to go a little deeper in this, you can lift those feet up off of the floor one at a time and play around with having your legs elevated. It's always wonderful to have our heart above the head for increased circulation. Getting more of the body up off of the floor is even better. So you can straighten those legs with that nice block support. You can even allow the legs to fall apart if that works for your body. Pardon the foot right in the camera. You can spread those legs whichever way feels best for you. Wherever you are, just try to rest, relax, release.
Just another minute here. So if you've got your legs up, you might want to start to bring them down. Find your footing again on the ground. Bring the feet hip width apart. Take some deep breaths. And remember, we want to remain nice and elevated. We're going to take our time dropping the spine down one section at a time. So save that tailbone for the last bit. Control the spine. Lowering gently and easily, savoring the motion of release. Imagine you're placing a bumper sticker on something important and you don't want any air bubbles. So you're just going to take your time, coming down super slow. Taking your tender time. And then right from here, you can stretch yourself out for final relaxation. If you would like to cover up something, go for it.
fingers and toes. And when you're ready, roll over to one side and come on up to sitting. Wonderful practice today. Hope your hips feel nice and open. And you can go about your day a little more open and free.